to see so many on. Bob, I appreciate you. Appreciate the opportunity to be a part of this Saturday event. So some of you, I guess it's afternoon, and my wife's in danger right here. I'm Italian. I like to use my hands, so I like to get nice and close, So listen, just a few things that I wanted to share. Some a little bit about our story, some a little bit about the things that I'm passionate about that I think that most of us can find value in. And really my intent is just to provide some nuggets that maybe that you can provide or apply, shall I say, into your own business. I know there's a lot of great leaders on here, a lot of people that are what I call doing the stuff. You are out doing the day-to-days, you're running successful businesses. But there's some things that have been important to me, not just in direct sales or in network marketing or member direct, as we call it here, but just things that are important to me as I build. I'm passionate about developing people and seeing people walk in really their full potential. It's been a passion of mine and Tiffany's for a long time, and so we have our hands in a lot of different things. But as Tiffany shared a little bit earlier in our story, is that we've built conventional business pretty much our whole life together. And so we've been entrepreneurs. We've been the type that have taken risk that maybe others weren't willing to take. And in a market that was dying, in a market that was failing, we were actually purchasing, buying, and building companies because it was either that or close our business at the time when most of us were impacted by the 2008 recession. And I had worked too hard at that point to come to a place of resolve at that time, a little bit younger in my career. And so we went for it. And, we started buying businesses, of course, pennies on the dollar, because people were either going bankrupt at the time or selling businesses and getting out of businesses. I bought a multi-million-dollar business at the time with a cute little blonde, blue-eyed girl on my hip and $5,000 in my pocket.
That would be our daughter.
That was our daughter. It wasn't my wife. Obviously. Thank you for that. I almost got myself in trouble. She was, yes, anyways. So, but fast forward to what we had gone through is we lost everything. We lost what we talk about in our presentation. We lost what we knew at the time, our legacy. We lost what we were building working so hard for. You've heard it probably said a million times. If you're a business owner, most of us in conventional business, we don't own our business owns us. Tarita shared a little bit about that in her story and her testimony. So true, right? And there was so much stress that comes with that, and so much overhead and responsibility that came with that. And of course, it's not just business, it's the families that are associated that work for you, that you feel responsible for, and all those different things. And so in a very small fraction, if you will, of time of what we thought we were going to dissolve and be able to convert assets, we sat in front of a team of lawyers and found out in minutes that we were broke. And we found out in minutes that we lost hundreds of thousands of dollars we'll never see again. We found out in minutes that we lost what we, again, were working so hard towards: our home, our vehicles, our livelihood. I had $24 in my checking account when we got out of that meeting. I was in tears in my pickup truck by myself trying to figure out how I was going to provide for my family. And the biggest frustration that I had in all of that is, what's really protecting our efforts that we all put forth on a day-to-day basis? What's really protecting the very thing that we all aspire to do or aspire to be for our families or for those that we're influencing on a daily basis, right? So that was difficult for me. So when Tiffany says that her and Bob had to convince me or whatever it is that they were doing and kind of doing behind the scenes, my frustration is that I wasn't looking for opportunity. I was looking for security. I can go create opportunity for myself. That's my type of personality. But there's only certain things that you can do that is going to keep you in a place that it makes sense, that at the end of the day, when it comes time to either shift in our careers and go do other things or to retire, that's protected. And that's what I was so frustrated by. So as she said, they drugged me to Dallas, and I want to specify here or clarify, I was not drugged. I was in my right mind. There were some questions earlier that came across. Was I impaired in any way? I was coherent. I promise you that. I was able to make an informed decision for myself and for our family in that moment. But what was what was important about that is that when I came to Dallas, I got to meet Zach for the first time, and he got to meet the stubborn Italian for his first time. And I looked at him, I had my arms crossed, and I thought the things that were coming out of his mouth at the time were foolish because of what we had gone through financially. And he could see that, he could tell that. And he kind of stopped what he was saying, and he asked me two things. He said, Danny, I'm going to ask you a couple things. I'm going to ask, one is that you're going to hear stories just like we've been hearing this morning. This is exactly what happened in that event. I started to hear real life stories that impacted my pain, if you will. And that's what some of you guys are hearing this morning. Some of you guys may have been guests this morning. Some of you guys are maybe young in this business. Some of you guys are maybe veterans in this business. But for whatever reason, you've been discouraged, and you've taken a step back in your role and what's keeping you from moving forward. And the stories that you're hearing this morning are starting to speak to your pain, right? They're starting to create a little bit of urgency in you to propel you forward. And I think that's important. So when Zach said you need to listen to some of the stories that I think are going to directly relate to your story, because I know a little bit about you. Your wife told me about you last night. Your wife told me about your story last night, right? He also said this. He said, I'm going to tell you one other thing. If you had owned gold and silver at the time that you and your wife went through what you went through, you'd have been able to liquidate that and use that and leverage to keep yourself from going through the financial despair that you went through. That grabbed my attention. That's all I needed to hear. I didn't even need to hear Tony's presentation. It was good. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't even need to hear it at that point. I was ready. I was ready for the next steps. And so what I went through for the next 45 minutes or so was just part of the process of me saying yes, of course. And there was things in the presentation that connected with me. And so what I wanted to share with us this morning is the importance of what I told Tiffany. If I'm going to do this with you, there's two things that have to happen for me to do this long term. Because again, I can go out and build business. I can go out and be a part of corporate America, if you will. I can go out and help other people build business and make money. I am a corporate executive of a large federal contracting company. I say that because again, I can go create opportunity. I can go create income. But again, what's protecting that income? What's protecting what I'm setting aside? And also, I've been in this industry long enough to know that there's huge ebbs and flows in this industry that, again, could at any point in time cost me my livelihood, right? And so I knew that I couldn't go back into this industry with my eyes closed. I knew that I had to have other options and opportunities and other means to generate income. So that in the event that the bottom fell out in our industry again, that we were not only protected, but we had other streams of income that allowed us to continue out doing what we were already doing, right? And so our goals, of course, are yes, to replace a six-figure income with 7K medals, so that we can go and do the other things that we're passionate about, in putting this same opportunity in people's hands. But I told her, if we're going to do this, we're going to build two things. We're going to build sustainability. So for most of us that are listening, it's important that and when I say most of us, is because some of us already know that. We already know the value of sustainability, right? We've been in these types of businesses before. We've built organizations before conventionally, and we understand the value of building in such a way that it's sustainable, so that we don't have to recreate or reinvent the wheel every time a season changes in our organization, right? And so I told her, if we're going to do this, we're going to build in a way that's sustainable, because I truly want to walk away from this thing knowing that we've created value for others and we've taught them to do the same things, and they've done the same things in their businesses and in the people's lives that they're doing and networking with, so that we truly can walk away, right? The other thing is that I told her just the word I used. I said, if we're going to do this, we're going to build value. Okay, so that's one of the things that I want to share this morning. If you take anything out of this, is the importance of building and creating value. And it starts with you, right? So in my recommendation, if you're bringing somebody into your organization, and everybody does it differently, and some of you might agree and some might, but for me, it's important that every individual that I bring into my business and every individual that our team members bring into their business value the reason why they're coming in to this organization, this opportunity, whether it's just to be a buyer or whether it's to be a buyer collector and a builder, whatever that is they have to value the reason why they're coming in to this opportunity. Because I think that's the thing that keeps them wanting to stay. That's the thing that builds residual in your business. That's the thing that brings those renewals into your business month after month, year after year. It's exciting when all of a sudden you get through your first year of business, and it's not just the residual piece of the autosaver that's hitting your sound money wallet every month. It's the residual piece of people renewing because they value why they came in the first place. You don't have to convince them to renew. You don't have to go and make that phone call and say, hit renew now. You don't have to go remind them to make sure that that thing's on auto renew, right? Because they value why they've come in the first place. And so that's important to me that we build that, and we build those things of value. And so I want to give you guys a few, not just words of encouragement, but some nuggets that you can do in your business, no matter what level you are in this organization. And maybe some of you guys are already doing these things, but listen, you have to start with the place of why you said yes in the first place. That's the platform that you're building your business for. Okay, everybody's why is different. Everybody's story is different. Everybody's reason why they came in to 7K Metals and into this opportunity is different. But that's the most important and pivotal thing that is going to continue to drive your business and is going to continue to sustain your business week after week, month after month, year after year. A lot of us are going to go through setbacks. We're going to go through disappointments. We're going to go through discouraging things in our business, not just with people that we're sharing this with, but let's be honest, with those team members that are in our organization. Okay. Some of us don't talk about that. Okay. All right. But, be selective of who you're putting into your business, because this could be for the long haul. Right. And listen, it's going to happen. We're going to have those that are in our business that give you more reasons why something can't be done than how something can be done. I don't spend a lot of time there. Okay. I spend time with those that value why they're doing what they're doing. I spend time developing people that want the same things we do and more. And that's where our efforts and our energy goes to, right? Doesn't mean I forget about the rest of the people that are in my organization. I'll check in on them. I'll encourage them. I'll put the proper tools in their hands. But listen, this thing really isn't about sales if we really value why we're doing what we're doing in the first place, right? If we really value the information that we're putting in other people's hands, we're not selling. We're truly informing. We're truly educating, right? Some people are going to choose and see the value in this, and some aren't, and that's okay. I'm moving on, right? There's a story in the Gospels that I love, that I've learned to love. And I think it's important. I think we can learn something from Jesus in this moment, but he's instructing his disciples and how they go out and share, and I think some of us have learned or have been told this story, maybe the wrong way or maybe out of context. But what the story says is that when you go in, wherever it is that you're going to share the good news, by the way, not the bad news, the good news. We believe, I think, with 7K, we have real information that brings value and hope to people that are hopeless, right? And not just people that can't quote unquote afford an opportunity like this, or people that are starving financially, right, or physically starving. But I have talked to more people that are cash rich in the last couple of weeks than I have in a very long time that are concerned about what happened to my wife and I. They're concerned about their cash. They're concerned about their long, hard-earned efforts that they've put over the years that is at the detriment to our current monetary and banking system. They're looking for answers. They're looking for a way to protect those things. And so they're joining this opportunity, not because they need the quote-unquote cash. I just had a gentleman on the phone with Bob yesterday, and he told us, listen, I'm not coming for the money. I'm coming because of the education. I'm coming because of what you teach. I'm coming because what I've earned and what I've set aside needs protection, right? And so Jesus gave these instructions, and he said, listen, when you share, the peace of God's either going to come on them or it's not. And if it doesn't come on them, then let it come back on you, dust off your feet and move on. So I want to use that little illustration to encourage us. If people aren't finding the value of what you're sharing with them, then dust off your feet and move on, right? If we got to talk somebody into this thing, something else or some other circumstance or somebody else in their family is going to talk them right back out of it. They're going to find zero value, and they're going to be the frustrating person in your business, or they're going to be the thorn in your side in your business, right? And so you're looking for people that I know we've all heard this, and I'm going to reiterate, but we truly are looking for those that are looking for us. And if we really believe what we have is valuable, then we have no problem sharing with whoever and whenever, right? And so this is the things that were important to me. So I want to encourage you, think about why you said yes in the first place, okay? Answer that for yourself, write that down, and that becomes the platform that you share from every day. Every minute in your business is why you said yes in the first place. That's the place that's believable for you. That's the place that nobody can talk you out of. That's the place that you can tie yourself to emotionally, right? And that's the place that people can connect with because they see that, hey, this is authentic. This is real. This person's passionate about these things, right? Your story causes them to lean in a little bit. They want to know more. They want to hear more, right? And so, and then also understand that not everybody's you, okay? For all of us big leaders on this call, statistically, there's a lot less people in the world like yourself, okay? They're not going to build like you. They're not going to learn like you. They're not going to talk like you, right? You have to teach them the values of this business, and you have to teach them to use the simple systems that we've been handed by great leaders, by most of us on this call, by Mr. Bob Reid. You know, his system is genius. It's simple. It works. It's tried. It's tested, and it's true. We don't have to reinvent the wheel here. Our company has provided some phenomenal resources to us that are tried, are tested, and are true from gentlemen and owners that have been in this industry a long time. They've made all the mistakes. They've been through all the heartache and the pain. They've put a system together that just plain makes sense. And it's at our fingertips to use and to utilize and to duplicate and teach people to do the same thing if we use those simple systems. We don't have to go out and try to recreate something that isn't working anyways, right? We don't have to try and go out and become somebody or be somebody or talk like somebody that we're not. And as leaders, it's important for us to understand that not everybody in our organization is us. Not everybody's going to talk like us. Not everybody's going to lead like us. Not everybody's going to put a foot forward like us. So we have to learn to speak their language. We have to learn to teach through their language, not our own, through them. What do they need to hear that they're going to connect with, that this thing is finally going to click and going to be explosive in their minds, in their hearts, that gets them off a go, that moves them past their inhibitions, that moves them past their place of discouragement, right? So if we teach them to lead from the reason or the place that they said yes in the first place, that will be the catalyst for their business. That'll be the catalyst for their success, but it'll also be the catalyst for your own organization because you won't have to handhold anymore. You will release dynamic leaders in your organization and dynamic leaders in your business that will go out and reproduce what you're doing and teach others to do the same. You don't have to be the lead administrator in your organization anymore, right? Matter of fact, in the corporate world, I teach all of my managers and all of my supervisors and those that we build together with to basically replace myself and my position so that they're not dependent on me. So that when I walk away, they can go do what they're well capable of doing without me having to babysit and hold their hands, right? So I'm going to share my screen to kind of cap this off. And listen, this is nothing new. This is basically Bob's system and 7K metal system in a one-page document. That's all it is. And it's a cycle. If we'll take this cycle and we'll reproduce this cycle in our business on a day-to-day basis, and we teach our team members to do the same, they'll have the same success that you're having. They'll be the ones telling the testimonies on these types of calls that say, I've never made money in this type of industry before. And I am not only making income, but I've been able to walk away from X, Y, and Z, and I'm accumulating real asset and real wealth. Those are my favorite stories. I have one of my employees on this call today. He's about to fire me as his boss. How exciting is that? You know? And oh, by the way, for those of you that are business owners, when's the last time your employee paid you? Right? Just saying, when's the last time your employee paid you? Right? When's the last time that after your employee stepped away for whatever reasons, he's now blessing you instead of torturing you for 2 more years after he's left, right? Because that happens. It happens to me all the time. But that's a blessing, right? He's able to walk away. This is a gentleman that not only is about to fire me as his boss, but he was able to buy his first home for his family. Sorry. This is what it's about. He's able to buy his first home for his family because of 7K. The background, if you get to know this gentleman, his background is that he comes from a lineage and a family that never would have ever been able to put this type of legacy together for his family. So he's cutting to a degree what he's generationally been served off at the root. And he's providing a new story and a real story for generations to come because of what he's putting into his family. Thousands of dollars he's been able to accumulate over the last 3 years in wealth through bullion and graded products that he never would have been able to put his hands on. He's got more money in wealth than I was able to pay him. Can I tell you this? He asked me for a raise and I was only able to give him $1 raise because of his position in my company. 7K Metals gave him a 35% raise, a raise I never would have been able to give him. He's about to fire me as his boss. That's a blessing to me. That's a blessing. That should be a blessing to all of us of what we can truly put in people's hands. So listen, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to wrap up with this. This is what we teach on a weekly basis, monthly basis. They're probably tired. Some of my team are probably tired of hearing it, but repetition is important. And I'm going to give some illustrations here. Let me just blow this thing up real quick. And so this is pivotal for your business, is just taking simple systems and creating a repetition using simple systems, leading from a platform of why you said yes in the first place, right? That's the most influential place that you can lead from, not somebody else's story. Those are important. Those are fun. They're touching, but there's no other story that's more impactful than your own, especially when you're the one delivering it to the person that you're sharing it with. Okay. And so I tell this, I'm also a coach. I'm a sports guy. I love athletics. One of the things that I tell my athletes all the time is the importance of repetition. They get frustrated with me because they say, Coach, we do the same thing every time we come to practice. We do the same fundamentals. We do the same drills. And I tell them, listen, and understand this. This is true in your business. There's professional athletes that are doing the same fundamentals, same simple fundamentals that they've been doing since they're 5 years old as a professional athlete currently in their career. Why is that? Because it's creating repetition. It's creating muscle memory so that when they're in the game, when it matters, it becomes automatic, right? That's why they're there. It becomes automatic. They don't have to think about it. They don't have to think where they're going with the ball. They don't have to think about the game plan that you put in place all week long. It just becomes automatic. It becomes a response because of the preparation that was put in prior to, because of the repetition that was created. And so it's important that you and I create repetition so that when it matters, when we go to lead, when we go to share, when we go to put a presentation in front of somebody, things start to roll off our tongue with repetition. And we're teaching our team members to do the same thing. And so here's one of my more favorite definitions of this word, because it really truly describes from even a psychological standpoint. What I just said is that repetition is a key learning aid because it helps transition a skill from the conscious to the subconscious. So when we do these things, right, all of a sudden they're things after a while we don't have to think about anymore. It becomes a part of our subconscious. It becomes automatic. And through repetition, a skill is practiced and rehearsed over time and gradually becomes easier and easier. So the hard things become easier, right? The difficult things become easier in your business, right? It becomes easier to stay consistent in your business. It becomes easier to move past the objections, if you will. It becomes easier to move past what are the things that you are using or allowing to be the excuse of why you're not propelling yourself forward, or allowing your team members to provide excuses of why they're not moving forward or why they're not getting off of go, right? And if they'll lead from that place of believability, right, instead of from the place of somebody else's success or somebody else's story. And again, don't get me wrong, those are motivating, but it's got to be real for yourself. You have to value it for yourself if you're truly going to have success with this thing. You have to even value the information that you're sharing, right? So last slide, listen, this is just a quick, easy, okay, Danny, you just gave us all these things. Give me some application. Give me some nuggets. Again, this is nothing new, but this is just the life cycle of our business. And if we use this life cycle in our business on a day-to-day basis, we'll have success. We've put this to the test. I challenged my team in the last 2 weeks, and using Bob's system, of course, that listen, minimum 15 people a day, no matter what. We're not pre-qualifying as Zach talks about in our associate training. We're just reaching out and asking if we can put real information of value in their hands. This is who we are. This is what we do. And this is why we do what we do. I'd love to share it with you. Can I get you some more information? Simple as that. Richard Hansen, we hear it all the time, whether it's in person, at events, over a phone call, be a product of the product. If somebody can answer a question about gold and silver, it's going to be people like Bob. It's going to be people like Richard, people that have been in the industry a long time. They can answer every question out there. But is it really duplicatable? No, it's not. But the system is, right? And so if we're working towards getting people enrolled into our business, once we enroll people into our business, I think the most pivotal thing that you can do in your business is connect that new person with your upline right away. Whoever that upline is, whoever your leader is, whoever has enrolled you, or whoever's enrolled them, whoever the influential person is in your organization, get them connected with them right away, right? And then I think this is most important to me. I don't like foolish games. I'll be honest with you. Some of you guys, I'm sure, can relate to that. And there's a lot of people out there that don't like foolish games. I'm not into tricking somebody and into finding value in this. I'm not into tricking somebody to get onto an autosaver that puts their finances at more of a detriment, because I come from a place of being broke and losing everything. And so I really believe in building value for that person. Okay. So I want them to understand how to manage their back office. I want them to understand how to manage their wealth. I want them to understand how to leverage that and use what they're earning to manage that wealth. And so back office training is pivotal. We do that on day one. We get them back on a different call after they've enrolled, and we walk them through their back office. We walk them through their profile tab so they understand how to enroll people. There's nothing worse than enrolling somebody day one in your business because you're excited and you don't even know how to place in your own business. Okay, what does that speak to the person that you just enrolled? So it's important that they understand how to do those simple things. It's important that they understand how to manage their autosaver. It's important that they understand all of the products tabs and help them get their sound money wallet set up. I know we have videos for that, but I'm kind of a hands-on guy. I'm kind of a people person. And so that's what I like to do for our team. And then that launch call is huge. Okay. We want to help that person launch their business. We just did that with a new enrollee and our team member that Marcos, that we were just sharing his testimony, brought on. And that guy brought his whole family on onto a launch call. And it was pivotal for that guy's business. So his business is getting off the right start. So then there's training, right? That comes with time. And listen, I've always said this, and it's a little bit of a weird illustration, but man, we've got a lot of information to share between Bob's system, the corporate system. There's a lot of information out there. Okay, think about when you eat. Man, I got fed up last night. I went to a restaurant. I ate way too much, and I went from enjoying my meal to not enjoying my meal for like 2 hours afterwards because I ate too much, right? And so think about that when it comes to information. Right? We can give somebody so much information in the beginning. What are they going to do? They're not going to retain any of it, and they're going to regurgitate everything that you shared with them. I know that's a silly illustration, but if you think about it that way, it helps us really remember that, hey, this training process is a process. That's why Bob says 2 years to learn, but you get to earn while you learn. Right? It's a process for people to go through that, but you can get them connected in the process. And these are the tools that we use, right? The corporate calls, the weekly team calls, the associate training, the buyer certification, and now the collector's certification. And then of course, Bob's system. Tiffany, I live and die by that thing. It's tried, tested, and true. We just send what he sent to us. Okay. And so if you're on this call, I'm sure some way, somehow you're associated to Bob's organization through a member, from another member to another member. Reach out to your upline, get that 21 email system and that 7 urgent email system. I mean, it's been pivotal for our business. I've coined a phrase for Tiffany and I. Being in the industry that I'm in, I've got zero time. I am a head of operations for 2 large construction companies and a facility management company, and I've got zero time. But we've learned to build this business in the small fractions and cracks of the day. I used to say cracks of the day. I don't even have cracks of the day anymore. It's like fractions of the day. Okay, so some of you that are coming with, I don't have time for this, you have time. Okay, it takes all of 10 seconds to shoot out a message. It takes all of 10 seconds to get somebody on the call. I do it all the time. If I'm in the middle of my day, I've got no time. I don't want to miss the opportunity to connect with somebody. I put them on the phone call with Bob. He can handle it. Okay. And that person, by the way, is in well hands. Okay. I was always nervous with the 3-way calls. I don't even call them 3-way calls anymore. You can see in our that last tab, when it comes to reach outs, when it comes to building your business, the most important thing that you can do is teach the person that you just brought into your business how to work a live list, a list that they've actually documented, they've written down. It's statistically, we retain 75% more of what we hear if we write it down. I believe it works the same when it comes to our to-do list. Write it down, work from a live list, and use a validation call. I don't use the word three-way calls. They've always scared me. I've had some really bad experiences in this industry on a three-way call, and I felt I don't know what I felt, but I just didn't feel good when I got off those calls. But Bob's kind of reinstilled faith in me when it comes to that three-way call. But I like to call them validation calls, because that's really what's happening, is he's validating, or your upline, whoever your leaders are in your business, they're validating the information that you've already probably shared. And sometimes, especially when it's family members, they're not listening to you anyways, right? Who do my family members know as me as? They know me as a builder. That's about it. What does Danny know about silver and gold, right? I put him on the phone with Bob. So, and then we've got, of course, that wealth strategy presentation. Everything, I believe, leads to that. We get the opportunity to share this information. That new presentation is powerful, man. I don't know how you don't make a decision to do this when you go through that presentation, because it makes plumb sense. And then it's just repeat, right back to the top: onboarding, market development, and reach outs. It's just repeat and recycle. So we use this cycle to build our business, and we use the values that we just shared. And I believe that's why we've been finding more success in that. And so, Bob, that's what I have to share this morning. I really appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you and be a part of your Saturday, and blessings to each one of you in your business. You're muted.
Bob, you're on mute.
Thank you. Thank you, Danny and Tiffany Clements, silver and bronze associates. And as you and I both know from what you just heard, they're definitely on track to be gold associates, and they are developing a legacy income. Thank you so much for sharing with us and everyone else in the group, Danny and Tiffany.